Hello, everyone. I am Melissa Forziat, and it's time for another message from Melissa. And this month, I wanted to share something that's been a bit surprising for me as somebody who has only lived in California for a few years. And I didn't notice this phenomenon my first year living here, but the last couple of winters, I've noticed that they sometimes move at the beach. They sometimes move the lifeguard stations, like the towers, the lifeguard towers. They move them pretty far away from the shoreline and more closer to the walking path and the houses. And the first time I saw that, it was a huge shock to me because I never even thought of them as something that could move, which sounds like the stupidest thing, but they're these little shed housing structures. And yet it felt to me like they were fixed in place, that they were permanent structures that were always meant to be there. So to see them moved very far away from the water and closer to the Strand or to the walking path was strange for a couple of reasons. Not only because it was like I thought they were fixed in place, but also because, why would you move a lifeguard station really far away from the water where it would be harder or take longer for somebody to get to a rescue? So after months of walking by these stations, I started looking into it. Why did they move them? Just wrapping my head around the idea that they could be moved was something that took me a minute. And then as I started looking into it, I realized, okay, there's lots of reasons why they might move them. There might be, storm conditions or high surf conditions, and they think that the waves are, going to come in and potentially erode the shoreline and carry the lifeguard stations with it or move them on their own. So they have to protect them, and they have to, really move them back to make sure that that doesn't happen. And as I started to look into that and realize what the function was, it made me think, because how many things are there in our lives that we think that they're fixed in place? This is how this is. This is a permanent part of my schedule, or this is a thing I always have to do, or a person I always need to see, and this is time I always need to spend. And we build around it. And sometimes we might be able to go through it. We might be able to change the thing that feels rigid or really stuck if we just get creative about it. And if we really sit with it and think, what's the function of me making a change with this? What's the function of me staying and keeping doing this thing? So I encourage you to think about that as well. Is there something in your life that it's part of your life because it feels like it's fixed in place, but maybe it's not? It's a good time to inspect those things, and I'm going to be doing a bit of that myself. I hope you have a great month ahead. Take care.